Alright, so let's look at this question here, which is to express the following complex numbers in terms of the exponential form. So you can do this proficiently. I think the first one is pretty okay. What you need to understand is essentially change it to exponential form. That will be the easiest way. So we know that ei theta is equals to cosine theta plus I sine theta, right? So the first thing is to you realize that there's a negative here. Now what we need to do is actually use the formula cosine negative theta is equal to cosine theta, and also sine negative theta is equal to negative sine theta. Okay, so these are the things usually in this case here we need to use this. So for the first part, shouldn't be an issue. Cosine theta plus I sine theta, that would just be our ei theta. So the one below, what we need to do is absorb the negative in, and because I absorb the negative in for the sine, the angle have to be the same. So in other words, I just introduce a negative for the cosine. Okay, so because cosine, we could just change it. So this case here, once done ei theta, this will just be e negative I theta. Oh, great. So this case will be e I theta minus I theta. So there will be ei2 theta. All right, so there you go. So this is e I2 theta. Okay, great. So let's look at the second one, which is e2 theta I theta. Okay, great. So this is pretty okay. I think the second one would be just be e2 plus I theta. Then this will be e2. Okay, what we need to understand is we couldn't have any constant, right? So it has to be just I theta here. So just separate it out by using the normal expansion here, and there you go. So that's how we do it. Yeah, so this is the answer. Okay, so this is the answer here because this is our r. Okay, r is a real value where it's positive. So just take note of that. Okay, it has to be a real. Now let's look at part 3. Part 3 here is also interesting. This we need to use half angle, I believe. So 1 over 1 plus ei theta. Okay, this one, what we need to do is to change the angle, all the angle to the same. So one way to do it, okay, there are a few ways of doing this. So you can't possibly change this to, okay, so what I'm saying is this and this, all these has to change to the same angle. So what we're going to do is actually just separate this. This is I0, this is also ei0, and this is ei theta. Okay, so what we realize is actually theta is half theta plus half theta. This is also, so ei0 is okay. We could just write this as theta over 2 minus theta over 2 over ei theta over 2 minus theta over 2. The point here is I'm trying to change them to the same angle there. Okay, so then it will be easier for us to manipulate. Okay, so of course the fastest way is just multiply by theta half. Later I'll explain. So I theta over 2 minus ei theta over 2. This is ei theta over 2 minus ei theta over 2 plus ei theta over 2 times ei theta over 2. So you factorize it out. Okay, this is to understand why we change it to in this form here. Okay, great. So this is done. So actually from here to here, you could skip all this step by just multiplying ei negative theta over 2. Okay, you could just skip from here to here by just doing this. But of course, in order to understand that, you need to understand why we do it, which is to separate this up. We just want to separate out so that we could just cancel this and left with all the angles, the absolute angles of which, or rather the basic angle of which is the same. E negative I theta over 2. Then this is E negative I theta over 2 plus E I theta over 2. Okay, great. So this case there, once done, we can just use our expansion there. So this will be cosine negative theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2. You could just leave it there. I think I'm going to leave the one on top there because is already exponential form. The one that I need to deal with is the one below. So cosine negative theta plus I sine negative theta over 2 plus cosine theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2. Okay. So once done, what I'm going to do is actually just e minus theta over 2. The one below here will be cosine theta. Negative theta over 2 will just be positive. There will be I sine theta over 2 plus cosine theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2. There you go. We got it. I think that's the answer. So these two will cancel out each other. What we have here is e minus I over 2 cosine theta over 2. Now this is a real value, so I'm going to do just half secant theta over 2 e minus I theta over 2. Okay, the half comes from this, then the secant comes from, of course, the 1 over cosine. So that is how I will do part 3. Okay, part 3, that's how I will do it. You could, like I said, skippable. If you just use this, skippable. Is it 2p or 1p? I don't know. We just write skippable. Yeah, just skippable. Okay, great. So this is it. Then let's look at part 4, which is the interesting one. Part 4, what we do is 1 plus cosine 2 theta minus 1 sine 2 theta. So part 4, 1 plus cosine 2 theta plus minus 1 minus I sine 2 theta. Now what you need to do is this. Take note of the angle here is annoying. So, and also this 1 here. Okay, when there's a 1, what you need to do is just understand that you can use cosine 2a. And you can get rid of the 1 by either one of the formula there. Usually that's my thought process. So I know that I need to use this because I could actually get rid of this 1 here. Okay, that is what I do. And this case, double angle, because this angle is already single, so I'm going to use double angle formula. This 2 cosine theta sine theta. So it's 2 cosine square theta minus I 2 cosine theta sine theta here. Then what we do is just factorize the 2 cosine theta out. Cosine theta minus I sine theta. Okay, then realize that this is minus. You need it to be plus. Absorb it in. That will be cosine to negative theta plus I sine negative theta. And that will be 2 cosine theta e I negative theta. Okay, there you go. So let me just rearrange this. E minus theta. Okay, so that's how I do this questionnaire proficiently. If you have any questions at all, please do let us know. Keep practicing and I'll see you in the next question.